Hello, this is Mr. Parks with a video for 6th grade for March the 20th. This covers the work from the 19th. I have my faithful assistant Ernie with me to make sure that we have everything correct. He did find one mistake, which we will actually get to very early on in the questions. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Number 1. What is the missing factor in the equation below? If I take this number and multiply by the inverse, that is going to give me my answer, which is going to be 3/5. 3/5 is the inverse of 5/3. Number 2, this is the one that had the mistake. So I have 6/8 of a yard, and then we're cutting it up into 1/4 foot. If you remember, a yard is worth 3 feet. I would have over a yard. Over half a yard. So a half a yard would be 1.5 feet, and so I would have to have at least 6 pieces to get up to 4/8 of a yard. So I think they meant to make both of these units of measurement the same. If they were the same, I could change this part to 2/8. How many 2/8 size pieces do I need to get to 6/8? It would be 3. Number 5, if I have 1.5 pounds of chocolate and I go ahead and divide them up amongst 3 people, each person would get a 1/2 pound of chocolate. My fraction that is equivalent to a 1/2 pound would be letter B, 3/6 of a pound. Number 3, Jasmine is cutting a ribbon into equal sized pieces. Which one is a true statement? It's going to be our first one. So if I take a 5-foot ribbon and I cut it into 5/6 of a foot pieces, I would be able to make 6 of those pieces. Number 6, which of the following divisors makes the equation true? So if I have 5 halves, if I divide by 5, that would give me 1/2. And so when I do that, I would be multiplying 5 times 1 on the top, 2 times 5 on the bottom to get 5/10, or 1/2, or I could also cancel out the 5s, and I would have 1 times 1 and 2 times 1 to get 1/2. Number 8, find the quotient for each expression. There is a trick to do this. So what the trick is we are going to be dividing by this, and what we can do is go ahead and flip it over. So dividing by a whole number is still going to be a fraction 4/1, so I could go ahead and multiply by the inverse. I would get a 12 on the bottom for this one. If I multiply by the inverse, I'm going to have 4/1 times 3/8, which means I'm going to have an 8 on the bottom for this one. I'm going to have 4 times 3 on the bottom for this one. I'm going to have 4 times 3 on the bottom for this one. I'm going to have 1 times 8 on the bottom for this one. And I am going to have 8/3. And I flip that over, I'm going to have an 8 on the bottom for this one. So those are our answers for that one. And number 11, if I have 3/8 of a cup of powdered drink to make 1 quart of flavored drink, for cherry, I'm going to be able to make 8 cups. For grape, I'm going to be able to make 2 cups. And for orange, I can change this to 2 2/8. And then be able to count that way. So 2 2/8 would give me 18/8, and that one would be 6. So 8, 2, 6 for that one. So hopefully that's been helpful for you, the one little trick for that problem. I hope that makes sense. If not, go ahead and take a look at how you would rewrite all of those as multiplication problems and work them out, and you should see that that trick actually does work, since we're not having to do anything too crazy with that. So hopefully, again, that helps you. The video for tomorrow will be out at 6 p.m. Covering the work for what you would be working on the 20th. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me an email. We will see you tomorrow.